for question 4 for our panel, we're going to actually start with Faith this time. And the question is, how have inclusive hiring practices strengthened your brand or business, or Faith, in your case, your organization? So how have inclusive hiring practices strengthened that brand or the work that you do?
Yeah, so one of BCCA's strategic priorities is workforce solution, which again is in response to challenges that the employers in our industry are facing regarding a skill shortage. So as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, construction has not the best reputation when it comes to worksite culture, which I think is a big factor as to why we're seeing fewer young people and people from underrepresented groups wanting to get into the industry. It's a deterrent. So DEI is something that we as an organization recommend to construction companies all over the province to help them expand their teams, their labor force. As I've mentioned before, it helps with retention and productivity. Excuse me. BCCA has developed several initiatives, one of them being STEP. Another one is called Builders Code, which is an initiative that provides support to employer companies to help them improve their worksite culture. There's a scorecard, there's training available, there's all sorts of supports there. And what Builders Code does is it defines an acceptable worksite as one that is free from hazing, discrimination, bullying. And programs like this and with STEP is become something that we're known for around the province and within our industry. And not just because this kind of stuff is the right thing to do, which it is, but because, as I've mentioned, like a diverse team supports better production, safety, and efficiency. But all of that improves a company's bottom line. Like if their teams are safe, if they're productive, if they're efficient, if they're happy, they're making more money. And that's what companies respond to. So this is how we've worked DEI into our branding, and it's really strengthened what we can do for the industries in our or the companies in our industry.
That's fantastic. And like I said, like you said earlier, if the problem is that you're not able to source the skills that you need, then your brand is important. Like, people need to be attracted to that industry. And that's what you're doing through this. So great way of linking the sort of results to being more than it's just a nice thing to do. Thanks for that. Heather, over to you next. How have inclusive hiring practices strengthened your brand or business? And again, choose which of your many hats you want to put on for this, or all of them.
I would say that what DEI does for our local governments is it again provides a platform of trust. And when people trust what you provide for them, it makes things easier for everyone, more relaxed for the communities that we serve, and for the students in one case, a better and safer environment for them. And it just overall well-being of our communities. And so when we support and foster an environment of inclusion, what we're saying to people is we invite you to tell us how we can help you. We invite you to tell us, how do we make this a better experience for you? And if this does not affect you, then thank you for your trust that we will take care of those things. And so it really does help with the trust and the branding and the recognition that this local government is working for you, not against you. And it doesn't matter what your background is, your belief systems, or your cultural backgrounds. We support you in the best way that we can, and we serve you. And so I think that that's very important for the messaging that we want to send out. Also, it says to the employee that you're safe, and we receive the benefit of that in the loyalty and the work that they provide, and the attendance. We see an increase in attendance when people feel welcome and a sense of belonging. And so we're seeing the benefits all around us. And that's my answer.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Peter, over to you. How have inclusive hiring practices strengthened your brand or Free Rein as a business?
Thanks, Roberta. Yeah, this is my question. Like I've been waiting for this one. So Free Rein 32 years ago was faced with the what are we going to call ourselves question. And we thought about what it was that we wanted to achieve. And it was about this idea of independence, that clients would own their success. They would recognize their power in being able to achieve the outcomes that they wanted. And while we were a small organization, there were just three of us, that was really a fairly straightforward approach. But then we started to hire people, and there was this aha moment where we recognized, oh, we have to use this same approach with our staff as with our clients. The staff need to own their work. They need to have a greater degree of investment into it. And I would say over these years, that concept has grown fully. And so when we're working with teams, and I really like to have that kind of approach, it's very much this team works on this project. And there's a lot of interrelationship between the teams, but each team owns its project. I want them to understand the contract. I want them to understand the proposal that got the ball rolling in the first place. And then I want them to make decisions about what they're going to do. And there's some anxiety on my part because
No.
I birthed this thing and now I'm kind of handing it off to other people. And I would say that consistently, we find that those projects are better than we would have ever hoped. That they're better because of the diversity of that team. They're better because those people who are working in that project own it. Sometimes when we start, people, especially team leaders, will say to me, so what do you want me to do? Or how should I do this? Or something. And my response is, so what do you think you should do? Or how do you want to do this? A little while ago, we had a very small project to put on a film festival, an Indigenous queer film festival, something I have never done, but just really wanted to see in the community. And the coordinator contacted me and said, so what do you want me to do exactly? And I said, have you read the proposal? Have you read the contract? Yes, yes, yes. So then tell me what you're going to do. And she said to some of her colleagues, so she was a bit stressed about that degree of ownership over the project. To say that that project was a success would be such an understatement. It exceeded every expectation that we could have hoped for. And in that process, the coordinator, who is a person of Indigenous heritage, truly started to reconnect with their heritage. So just because of that degree of ownership. So we have dared to call ourselves Free Rein Associates. We better live up to that concept.
Absolutely. And what great examples of how by allowing our babies to be raised by other people, you end up with such a stronger outcome than you could have ever imagined when you wrote the proposal. So thank you so much for walking the talk and really allowing people to have that free rein approach. I appreciate that.